Marvel's Thunderbolts has a 2024 release date, and it's been revealed which characters will form part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's next new team-up. One of the thrills of the MCU has been seeing Marvel's biggest superheroes team up to save the world on several occasions. However, Phase 4 of the MCU was building up to the first supervillain anti-hero team-up. There were plenty of rumors that predicted the Thunderbolts would form, with fans positing characters from titles as widely spaced as 2008's The Incredible Hulk movie to 2021's The Falcon and The Winter Soldier would be included. The first official look at the confirmed roster was given at D23 Expo. Here's every confirmed member of the MCU Thunderbolts team, and a few that are still highly likely. Marvel's Thunderbolts team were created as part of Baron Zemo's latest master plan for global domination. When several major members of the Avengers died in the Onslaught event, Zemo united members of the Masters of Evil to do the unexpected, protect the world. The famous criminals took on new costumes and personas to gain the trust of the public and governments. However, some members began to like their new heroic activities more, which led to a divide among the team. Even after the truth of the Thunderbolts was revealed, they were reimagined several times. By now, most of Marvel's biggest villains, and even several heroes, have been affiliated with the team at one point or another. Although Marvel hasn't aggressively pushed the MCU Thunderbolts setup and clues, they have done a lot of legwork to make it possible. There are several members of the original Thunderbolts team who have yet to make their MCU debuts, but that might not stop Marvel Studios from introducing the team. Multiple characters who have been associated with the Thunderbolts have already been introduced, and the MCU is putting together its own lineup for the on-screen version. Whether they're all part of the initial team or cycle through as the roster changes, these are the villains and anti-heroes confirmed as Thunderbolts MCU team members, as well as those who might be awaiting announcement. Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, although she's not as established as Thunderbolt Ross, Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, has been creeping her way into the MCU throughout Phase 4. Most notably, she appeared in The Falcon and The Winter Soldier to recruit John Walker and presumably put him on the path to becoming U.S. agent, and also confronted Yelena Belova at Natasha's grave at the end of Black Widow. As it transpires, she's collecting troubled heroes anti-heroes for the Thunderbolts. Exactly why still isn't known, and will no doubt be revealed when Thunderbolts hits screens in 2024. The MCU currently faces all manner of threats, from the Skrulls to Kang's impending Avengers Secret Wars incursion. It's unclear who Allegra de Fontaine is even operating on behalf of, but she has extensive knowledge of the U.S. government's inner workings and the leverage to manipulate media narratives. Black Widow, Yelena Belova, Marvel's first movie of Phase 4 introduced a sister of Black Widow, Yelena Belova, Florence Pugh. Although she is not a villain, Yelena's past as a Russian spy and graduate of the Red Room could keep her from initially being viewed as a hero by the public. Likewise, Yelena's appearance in Hawkeye set up the possibility of her continuing in an anti-hero type role, which was a strong hint she was being narratively led down the Thunderbolts path. As revealed by Florence Pugh at D23 Expo, in the MCU, Yelena will be leading the Thunderbolts team. In the comics, Yelena has been part of the Thunderbolts, although that was at a time when Natasha had taken her identity and used it to infiltrate the team run by Norman Osborn. But Yelena's MCU future after Hawkeye could also see her take on the Black Widow name and become more of a true hero instead. Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes, since his comic counterpart has led the team multiple times, it was reassuring to find out that Sebastian Stan will be reprising his role as Bucky Barnes the Winter Soldier for Thunderbolts. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was always going to end with one of the two leads inheriting Steve Rogers' shield and title, as both are former Captain Americas in the comics. The real question was what lay in store for whoever didn't assume the mantle of the next MCU Cap. While Sam Wilson is the new Captain America for the MCU and will be appearing as such in Captain America: New World Order, what Bucky got up to next was left relatively open-ended. This question has now been answered, and despite being pardoned for his former crimes, the Winter Soldier has found himself included on the MCU's Thunderbolts. This makes sense, though, since Bucky's status as a reformed mass murderer means he can be a moral middle ground between the team's rough but righteous anti-heroes and should really be behind bars villains. Ghost, of a Star. The MCU introduced one Thunderbolts member in Ant-Man and the Wasp, of a Star, a.k.a. Ghost, Hannah John Kamen. She was set up as the villain, but ultimately proved to be more of a misunderstood anti-hero. Ghost has been part of multiple Thunderbolts teams in the comics, so it wasn't at all surprising that Marvel Studios chose to stick to the source material for her MCU iteration. John Kamen had already expressed interest in being part of a possible lineup long before the announcement, and many fans backed her inclusion. Ghost was an incredibly intriguing character who felt far too deep to be used as a one-off MCU villain. Ant-Man and the Wasp already established the fact that Ghost worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. on covert missions, so it would narratively be easy to justifiably explain her inclusion within the MCU. Taskmaster, Antonia Dreykov. Taskmaster was introduced to the MCU thanks to Black Widow, and Antonia Dreykov, the woman under the mask, will be part of the Thunderbolts alongside Yelena Belova. A skilled mercenary, Taskmaster has definitive ties to the Red Room in the MCU, but there is also comic precedence for the character joining the supervillain team. Although he didn't stick around for long, Tony Masters, the comic book Secret Identity of Taskmaster, did help train new recruits to the Thunderbolts initiative run by Norman Osborn. With the ability to perfectly replicate any fighting style or move, Taskmaster's powers are a unique skill set for any missions the Thunderbolts go on. U.S. Agent John Walker. John Walker initially arrived in the MCU as the government's Captain America replacement in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Walker proved himself to be less than heroic, however, and was more of an antagonist to Sam and Bucky than anything else. By the series' end, Walker is other than honorably discharged from the military, self-injected with super soldier serum, decidedly unstable, and approached by Val about donning a new mantle, U.S. Agent. This shady goings-on made him an excellent candidate for the Thunderbolts team, and he was one of the first fans pointed out as a likely inclusion. Sure enough, as predicted, the scene between Val and John Walker in Falcon and the Winter Soldier was directly setting up Thunderbolts and U.S. Agent's inclusion as a member. Interestingly, in the comics, U.S. Agent was never actually part of the Thunderbolts and actually fought against them occasionally. Many fans are also curious how Bucky and John will get along on the same team in the MCU given their confrontational history. Red Guardian, Alexei Shostakov, known jokingly online in some corners as Captain Russia, MCU super soldier Red Guardian, a.k.a. Alexei Shostakov, is the final Black Widow addition to the Thunderbolts lineup. The first super soldier created by the Soviet Union, Red Guardian, has a Captain America-like power set, and the two share their respective patriotism and relatively wholesome interpersonal traits too, even though the MCU's Red Guardian, who Steve never even knew existed, considers them rivals. Red Guardian has many historic ties to the Red Room and SHIELD operations, so is no stranger to the world of superpowered espionage in which Thunderbolts takes place. This makes him a prime addition to fill out the roster, and the fact he's somewhat older than the other members, Bucky's lost years aside, means he'll likely bring a useful degree of wisdom and experience in the field. Unconfirmed MCU Thunderbolts members who could still be added, while Kevin Feige confirmed the initial Thunderbolts lineup at D23 Expo, that doesn't mean more members can't be added. There are several suspected Thunderbolts members in the MCU who weren't included in the D23 Expo announcement. However, in almost all cases, this might be because revealing them would spoil the plots of ongoing shows, most notably the timeline of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. For various reasons, both relating to the MCU and being part of comic book Thunderbolts lineups, the following characters might be late inclusions to the MCU Thunderbolts team. Baron Zemo. When it was announced Marvel was forming an MCU Thunderbolts, Baron Zemo, Daniel Bruhl, was thought to inevitably play a key role in it. Zemo founded the Thunderbolts in the comics and is routinely involved with different configurations of the team. One such version saw him lead the Thunderbolts as a group tasked with hunting down rogue heroes and villains during Civil War. Zemo has been part of the MCU since Captain America: Civil War and showed his brilliance by manipulating the Avengers, specifically Captain America and Iron Man, to cause them to break up. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier saw him temporarily team up with Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie, and Bucky Barnes, Sebastian Stan, and Zemo's MCU return is likely to pick up where the series left off. Since it ended with John Walker having taken the Super Soldier Serum, this will make him a target for Zemo moving forward. However, Zemo hasn't yet been announced as an official part of the Thunderbolts lineup. There are many rumors circulating that hint at his involvement, including a gaffe involving Marvel. Com's write-up mentioning his name in the link before this was altered. Thunderbolts isn't the only MCU show movie Zemo could still appear in, however, so it might just be that Bruhl's return is being kept quiet so as not to spoil the plot of projects releasing in the interim. Thunderbolt Ross. Red Hulk. Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, William Hurt, has nearly been part of the MCU since its inception. He first appeared as an army general in The Incredible Hulk, but wasn't seen again for 8 years. After his return in Captain America: Civil War, he played a vital role in the formation of the MCU's Sokovia Accords and gained oversight of the Avengers. Ross was expected to be seen multiple times in Phase 4, most significantly in the Disney Plus series She-Hulk, since this could see him finally become Red Hulk. However, this has been complicated by William Hurt's passing in March 2022. It's possible, though increasingly unlikely, that the actor could still appear in She-Hulk if he already filmed his scenes, but the future of the character certainly seems to be in jeopardy, since recasting such a recognizable role might not work out. Because Ross, as Red Hulk, founded a version of the Thunderbolts in Marvel Comics that featured Punisher, Deadpool, Elektra, Agent Venom, and more, it was expected he'd be the one to put the team together in the MCU. The Thunderbolts movie with no Thaddeus Ross could still work, however, as the MCU has introduced an effective replacement character in Valentino Allegra de Fontaine. The Abomination. The Thunderbolts could also be a chance to show even more of one of Marvel's nearly forgotten villains after his long-awaited return in She-Hulk, Emil Blonsky aka Abomination, Tim Roth. His first MCU appearance came in The Incredible Hulk, although one of Marvel's one-shots later confirmed that he was locked away in a top-secret SHIELD base. After the time jump from Avengers: Endgame, it had been over 15 years since Abomination was seen in universe until his cameo cage fight in Shanghai and The Legend of the Ten Rings. Blonsky made a full appearance again in the Disney Plus series She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Now allegedly reformed, Blonsky wants nothing more than a shot at a peaceful life. He also made an interesting point that, from his perspective, he was the hero sent in by the army to stop the monstrous Hulk, calling into question whether his designation as a villain is even warranted or indeed fair. These contemporary MCU appearances make Abomination's odds of sticking around in the MCU seem fairly robust. Tim Roth is by no means an unknown name, and his performance in She-Hulk has already been seen as a highlight. Giving his character so many layers definitely raises questions about Marvel's plans too. Abomination is a straight-up brute villain known for throwing incredibly hard punches and little else, so fleshing out his character and making him sympathetic is suspicious if there are no further plans for him. Plus, since the World Security Council originally wanted Abomination on the Avengers, it won't be surprising to see him recruited to the Thunderbolts by whoever is in charge. This would be a departure from the comics, as Abomination has never been an actual member of the Thunderbolts, but that's never stopped Marvel Studios before. It could be that Jennifer Walters' attempts to secure Blonsky's freedom fail, and Val instead offers him a Suicide Squad Amanda Waller-style chance to shorten his sentence by joining the Thunderbolts. This, for obvious reasons, can't be revealed until She-Hulk. Attorney at Law concludes. Key release dates: Black Panther, Wakanda Forever release date, 2022 11/11 Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 3 release date, 2023 05/05 Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania release date, 2023 02/17 The Marvels Captain Marvel 2 release date, 2023 07/28 Blade 2023 release date, 2023 11/03 Marvel's Thunderbolts release date, 2024 07/26 Captain America, New World Order release date, 2024 05/03 Marvel's Fantastic Four release date, 2024 11/08 Avengers, The Kang Dynasty release date, 2025 05/02 Avengers, Secret Wars release date, 2025 11/07 Black Panther, Wakanda Forever release date, 2022 11/11 Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 3 release date, 2023 05/05 Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania release date, 2023 02/17 The Marvels Captain Marvel 2 release date, 2023 07/28 Blade 2023 release date, 2023 11/03 Marvel's Thunderbolts release date, 2024 07/26 Captain America, New World Order release date, 2024 05/03 Marvel's Fantastic Four release date, 2024 11/08 Avengers, The Kang Dynasty release date, 2025 05/02 Avengers, Secret Wars release date, 2025 11/07.